There's been a cultural shift occurring not just within the States, but one that encompasses many regions across the world, and one in particular, the United Kingdom, has just held what will be a landmark case featuring a decision that has officially clarified differences regarding gender. And even though famous luminaries such as JK Rowling might be celebrating, there's one celebrity who is doing anything but. Let's talk about the Mandalorian lead actor Pedro Pascal calling Harry Potter author JK Rowling a quote heinous loser here on That Park Place.
There's a development that I'm watching closely here. This is theme park news because it spans two different theme park companies. It also spans the creative genius behind one of the most prolific media franchises out there, and also some idiot who seems to be number one on the call sheet when they want a diverse actor. Let's talk about Pedro Pascal for a minute. I'm sorry that I called him an idiot, but here we are. Marvin?
He has taken over the role of my most hated Hollywood personality in recent weeks. You know what? And I'll give it to him. He's a great actor, because for him to be able to play tough, manly men, for a man who has a 0.0% testosterone level, clearly from that picture, it's impressive the amount of range that he has. By the way, you'll notice in this article, the photos are all very much selected, right. To invoke specific emotions in you.
Yeah, there's something strange in the water over there at Disney. It seems to give people, give them the impression that they should go ahead and just trash everybody. I don't think that trashing JK Rowling is a smart idea, but let's get into the story before I comment on it too much. Pedro Pascal calls Harry Potter author JK Rowling a heinous loser over comments defending biological sex definition. This from Marvin Montanero, of that name.
And then calls her a heinous loser, and then I show that picture.
Yeah, Pedro is I almost feel like he's wearing these clothes as a dare. Like, I feel like if he has a girlfriend, he's raiding her closet, or maybe he's raiding his mother's closet. He comes from the random set. Like, if you go into a wardrobe, he doesn't necessarily go into the men's side. It seems to be his size, at least, so that's confusing.
Wait a minute.
He does a public appearance. Yes, go ahead, Vash. I think you might have something for us here.
I think he looks just fine. Look at him. Look at that wardrobe right there. That's very manly. That's very masculine right there. Never mind. That's the
what are those, bike shorts with a blouse and boots?
The boots are a mystery. I don't understand the boots whatsoever.
So Trish, I noticed that you are a girl, and girls generally know more about clothes than boys.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this ensemble?
This is terrible. I don't even think the individual pieces on their own are that great, but then you smush them together like that, and it's bad. The boots really just seal it. It's bad enough just that shirt and the shorts, because the shorts are an odd length, and oddly tight. But those boots, I don't understand what's going on. They look like they have their own sleeve or something, and they're big. And
well, I've been trying to figure out what in the world these boots are, because they are boots, and then whatever this thing is on top of it. I'm very functional. I am a blue jeans and shirts, and I'm very repetitive in my clothing. One time I heard that Steve Jobs wore the same thing over and over again, and I was like, okay, if he's doing it, I've got an excuse too. so this I don't understand what this is. I think he should go with just a nice polo shirt, maybe a white crew undershirt underneath it, maybe some khaki shorts, white socks, and maybe some white New Balance sneakers.
So we were saying on Toonie Talk last night, if you go back to the picture of him and Sigourney Weaver, it was pretty much like, well, one of us has to look masculine, and she won the coin toss.
I'm not sure what they were really going for here with his ensemble, because like I say we because somebody from Lucasfilm or somebody arranging the show has got to look him up and down and going, what are you doing? We can't have you go out like that. You are going to take away from the story if you come out dressed like that. And yes, this was an appearance at Star Wars Celebration Japan, talking about Mandalorian Grogu the film. And, well, not many people were talking about that. They were talking about Pedro Pascal's wardrobe. So I'm not sure what the decision here was on the other side, actually.
Yeah. So
what if Jonas, I think that we might actually have a case here of the fact that maybe like one of his friend's girlfriends like asked him to wear a specific shirt while he was on stage, and she was a low talker, so he couldn't hear it, and then he had to wear the puffy shirt.
I was gonna make that reference too.
I don't want to be a pirate.
If he was actually wearing like this is like 2 degrees off from something that could look kind of cool in the certain circumstance, and I'm not saying it's cool in any way, but if he was going for like a Colin Firth in Pride and Prejudice thing, maybe, but still it would look like a weirdo costume. Now,
well, he does look like a certain kind of pirate. That's as far as I'll take that.
now, as much as we're making fun of Pedro's fashion sense here, it's really not the problem that I have with him. I think it's weird that he dresses like that, but I know people who dress weird, and that's fine. But let's talk about the content of his commentary here. Pedro Pascal, best known for his role in The Mandalorian and The Last of Us, has inserted himself into the ongoing debate over gender terminology and women's spaces by publicly disparaging best-selling Harry Potter author JK Rowling. It's interesting that you just use the word best-selling here, Marvin. If you had the opportunity to expand that.
I felt as though the word doesn't do her enough justice. I mean, she wrote the single biggest book series on the face of the planet, but I didn't have time to wax poetically.
I don't know how many copies of Harry Potter we have 400 in our house. Yeah. How many copies of Harry Potter have been sold? It might
450 million, I believe.
Yeah. I just bought another Mina Lima edition of Harry Potter.
I have them sitting right here next to me. You're kind of out of frame right now, but they're beautiful books.
They're so neat. My daughter got one for Easter, but when we get another edition of Harry Potter, they tend to just be kind of family things because who can keep that to themselves? We've also got the illustrated editions, and they just changed the illustrator on the illustrated editions from a guy named Jim, either McKay or Kay, that did the first up to Order of the Phoenix, and they've changed it to another guy because Jim Kay is stepping down for health reasons. But that's not counting the house editions that you can get. That's not counting the adult cover editions that you can get. I know people who actually collect Harry Potter books, as in different editions of Harry Potter books. People love the Harry Potter books, and I think that's why this sticks in activists' craws so much. So the actor left a comment on activist Tariq Raouf's Instagram, calling Rowling a heinous loser following her support for a recent UK Supreme Court ruling that clarified legal definitions around biological sex. Now, why would it be that the UK Supreme Court would feel the need to rule on that? Interesting. The ruling issued last week determined that sex in legal terms refers to biological sex, and that facilities and services designed for women, such as shelters, hospital wards, and sports, can operate on that basis without being compelled to include male-born individuals. The decision is considered a landmark clarification in UK law. How did we get here that has to be landmark? And was supported by Rowling, who posted, "I love it when a plan comes together." She was smoking a cigar at the time as well. That's American.
Lighten it with an American $100 bill.
Was she? That's amazing. That's some rebel energy right there. When challenged online, the Harry Potter author reminded critics that she continues to receive royalties whether her books are read or discarded. "I get the same royalties whether you read them or burn them," she wrote. "Enjoy your marshmallows."
She's the best. I love her.
This is what's great when you go after an author.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Joe.
I don't know. I feel like the the crazies have been allowed to rule the roost for so long. I think it's worse in the UK. I mean, they apparently won't even let you butter your bread with a knife over there, or so I'm hearing. Anybody have any thoughts on this entire situation before we get to the situation around Pedro and some other Star Wars actors?
Well, let's see. Pedro Pascal, a dude, criticizing JK Rowling for her take on women's spaces when JK Rowling is a survivor of heinous acts that were committed against her. And the people on the loving and tolerant side of history threaten to assault her in horrific graphic ways every single day on X. So, she is. I give her a lot, but here's the funny thing is about the activist and my good friend Joe here. I feel like I can call her that because she responded to me on X one time. She agrees with them on 99% of the things that they say and do. There is just this one thing that she disagrees with them on, and for that, she is the devil incarnate. I mean, Papa Isidu's casting had to get her okay before it went through.
Absolutely.
Remember that.
Absolutely. So, and Joe is the appropriate name for her. The K in JK Rowling is made up, by the way. That was made up for marketing purposes. I don't know if that was, what is the name of I forget the name of the UK publishing house, but it's Scholastic in the US. I did a deep dive on Harry Potter stuff not long ago, and I listened to the Witch Trials of JK Rowling podcast that the daughter of Fred Phelps put together. And JK Rowling is not a big fan of conservative Christians. I'll say that. So for someone like Pedro Pascal to call the best-selling author in recent memory, I mean, these books will be sold. They will sell millions of copies a year for the next 50 years. No question whatsoever. Reminds me of that line in Finding Forrester. Back when people were buying your books. This woman is a billionaire just on the strength of 7 books, and how much people have captivated her, been captivated by her imagination. So it's a funny thing to call her a loser in a situation like this, when you've got the guy that Hollywood just keeps calling for no apparent reason. You don't hear people quoting Pedro Pascal lines in movies. You don't hear people saying, "Oh, Pedro Pascal's in that one, I'm going to go see it." Instead, he's out here making political statements, and I don't think that he's got the bank account, the social bank account, to be writing those kinds of checks right now. I think he is moving closer and closer to that Rachel Zegler territory. And I'm just looking at this space. I think this guy, in the lead up to The Mandalorian, has the potential to be like Rachel Zegler was. Maybe not on that level, but the way Rachel Zegler handled herself and ruined the reception of Snow White, to where it just becomes basically essentially an internet butt monkey.
The thing about that is, I think a lot of people with The Mandalorian don't even realize that it's him.
Yes,
because he wears the helmet the entire time. Well, so now it's not even him in the suit anymore, because he threw a fit when they. I had heard a rumor that he threw a fit that he couldn't take the helmet off and have his face be shown, and they were like, "No, like that's literally the character. You can't have your face shown." And so now, in order to keep him on the show, he just does the voice acting.
Well, that sounds grateful, doesn't it? So it's Brendan Wayne, who is John Wayne's grandson, I do believe, and Lateef Crowder, and the two of them do the. I think there might even be some more stunt actors that are involved here, but let's talk a little bit about The Mandalorian. Do any of you remember there were some interactions online between Gina and Pedro Pascal after Gina was fired from? And we used to not be okay to say fired, but I think we're okay to say fired now. It seemed to be that they were friendly with each other online. Yes. Do you think that I'm getting the idea here that I don't want to say it's open season on Pedro Pascal, because that sounds like a gun reference. No violence whatsoever here. But I feel like he is working harder and harder to get people to hate him at this point. Vash, Trish, you have any thoughts on that?
Well, that's an interesting perspective because there's definitely a movement towards, I don't know, maybe let's say traditional values in multiple places, not just the U.S. but the U.K. as well. And so the Supreme Court decision is definitely, I would say, more in line with that than maybe previous decisions on this matter. And yeah, JK Rowling, very flamboyant in her support of something like this. But the way he has conducted himself in response definitely shows that he's maybe outside of that cultural turning point right there. And I think that's why we're saying it's like he's trying to get people to almost hate him. Also, too, I believe his brother is a transgender individual. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so that might also play into why he acted so venomously towards J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, that's possible. He may have a history of mental illness in his family. I'm hearing as well. Completely unrelated to that. I'm looking at this, and I'll just throw this up here for a moment. Rose Tico actress Kelly Marie Tran's film The Wedding Banquet fails to make $1 million at box office after she publicly trashed Star Wars fans. Just literally came out of the blue to trash Star Wars fans. And John Boyega, can anybody have the short version of what happened with John Boyega recently in his documentary appearance?
He appeared in a documentary in which he said that Star Wars fans are okay with black guys being the best friend of the side character, but the second you touch their heroes or you become the main guy, they turn on you, and basically just blast the fans. Which
is ironic, considering I think a lot of people were actually rooting for Finn to get a better part instead of being the boyfriend. Sorry, the simp for Rey Palpatine.
One of the biggest criticisms of the sequel trilogy is they did Finn dirty, because Rian Johnson came in there, and the entire reason that Rose Tico exists is because Rian Johnson came in there and was like, "Oh, Ryan, I got this black guy in here. I got to do something with him." Like he had no plan for him.
He forgot. So I'm going to say I actually like Force Awakens when it came out. I know I'm crazy, and this is not historically speaking. I'm on the wrong side of history by saying this right here. But when Force Awakens came out, I liked the idea of Rey. I had no problem with her being a strong female character. I felt like she was still earning her place. There was this mystery around her. I thought that Finn, they were getting a little loose with the dialogue. You got a cute boyfriend or something like that. In the droid please dialogue. Okay, this is where we're going with this. Whatever. But there was this duality here with Kylo and Rey, where Rey had Anakin's lightsaber, and Kylo Ren had Darth Vader's helmet. Okay, I can see some duality here. You got Finn, who is they're trying to force a lightsaber into his hand, and you got Rey that they're trying to force a blaster into her hand. Okay, I see some duality here. And then by the end of all of that, the second movie, he is basically babysitting Rose Tico, who takes him on a preaching journey about why Star Wars is bad, because the good guys also buy weapons from the same guys as the evil people. So thank you very much for adding that element to Star Wars. Mm-hmm. That really helps in whether or not we should fight the dark side. And then in the last movie, they give him a case of the not gays and come up with a black female character in a way that I'm like, what is this? Is this a statement on race that you literally come up with a character who's the same skin tone as him, so that they can just have some kind of, I don't know, what they might perceive as a politically correct pairing here. Had
the most awkward screen kiss of all time with Rose in the second movie.
I know, like she forces herself on him. I mean, come on. Yeah. If he did that to her, it would be completely inappropriate. I just feel like this company is so broken, and they are so focused on race, so it's very hard not to see all of the races of the people that they are putting into these films and the actions that they're having them doing. Also, the fact that as Finn thinks he's about to die, he basically says, "Rey, I have to tell you something," and then they forget to follow up on that.
Well, what was it you were going to say, Finn? Oh man, I had it, and it's gone. It must not have been that important.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it just is there any appeal to okay, so first of all, they kill Rose Tico's sister and in a pretty great scene, even though there's suddenly gravity in space. Like they do a bombing run in space. Makes no sense. And you have this engaging start to it, and then you introduce another is she a janitor or whatever? Anyways, sorry. She comes back around. Kelly Marie Tran comes back around, and in order to market her movie, The Wedding Banquet, sounds like it didn't work, which, by the way, I'm hearing the movie has like heavy LGBTQ themes. She decides to trash Star Wars fans. And then we come back over here and we get Pedro Pascal, and he's like, by the way, that humongous franchise that Warner Brothers has, the one that sells so much merchandise at all their theme parks, the lady in charge of it, heinous loser. Is Hollywood ever going to realize that stars need to like be quiet? Like we don't care what they think. Trish, you haven't talked much. Do you have any thoughts on all this?
I just feel like if they were going to do that, I think it would have happened by now. And so I just think it's a lost cause, thinking that they're ever going to have that light bulb go on and realize that regular people don't really care. Like I said this last night. I said, well, why should I care what Pedro Pascal thinks of JK Rowling? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's like arrogant. Okay, so you think that she's a heinous loser. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. And I think you were saying he's going into Rachel Zegler territory. I also feel like he needs to watch out because I see people getting burnt out on him already.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
everywhere. So it's like that's a natural thing that happens. And he is just adding kerosene to that with everything that he's been saying and doing lately. And I don't know what's in the water over there that it seems they all want to insult the fans and then expect them to show up. But
well, think about it. He's in every single thing, right? He's in Fantastic Four, Star Wars, right? And he's in all these franchises. So when you disparage JK Rowling, you're not just, disparaging people who might be fans of her and her work, but you're also disparaging or you are taking a position on something that might be antithetical to people who are fans of the franchises that you're in.
Yeah.
It might have a box office or viewership repercussions for those works as well.
I popped into I started watching season 2 of The Last of Us last night just because this story had just broke and I wanted to watch someone beat him mercilessly with a golf club. But I couldn't get through the first episode. It's so terrible. Like Joel, they turned Joel. Joel is sitting there in therapy talking about his feelings. I'm just like, stop it.
And they had an opportunity to not do that on that show because they knew how people felt about the video game years ago.
Oh yeah.
And they did it anyway. And it's just like, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure as he was getting beaten with the golf club, he was like, I'm honored to be killed by a strong woman like you, Abby.
Yeah.
Just like in season 3 of The Mandalorian, when he bows before what's her face? Bo-Katan, where he's like, how may I serve you? Like
he literally hands her the Darksaber, which I don't know what they're gonna do with season 4 or sorry, The Mandalorian and Grogu, which they got to move that thing over to the movie theater so that they can get it off the Disney Plus books. They can pretend that it's profitable over there. I don't understand how, like, there was an idea that maybe Disney would quote unquote quiet the noise. I'm not seeing any of that. We've got one more story about that later on, but before we get to that, we need to get to these super chats. Is this live for $2 Canadian? Pedro Pascal, when being beta, isn't quite enough.
Yep.
It's so confusing. Like they put real clothes on to play their roles. How do they not know what real clothes look like?
He's actually got 4 easily. He's actually got 4 X chromosomes.
And DW, member for 2, Pascal is gross, not manly at all. I can't disagree with you there. Butterbiscuit 92 for $2. Just add fuel to Gina's fire, Pedro. Good job. Yes, he has.
Well, he's the entire reason Gina has a case at all, because a week after Gina made her posted that meme, he posted a meme that was basically the exact same thing.
Yep, and I would say worse, because his was actually calling a certain political side something, whereas Gina just implied we all need to be nice before we all as a society do this. His was blatantly like, this side is this side is that, you are evil, all that. Aldo's Journal for $1.99. Nice to see you. Also, Rose Tico sounds like a slur. Okay.
Yeah.
Aldo has more international experience than I do, so I will trust you on that one. Is this live for $2 Canadian? Are we blind? Deploy the likes.
Are we blind? Deploy the
Great job, Bash. Great job.
Way to go.
Thank you very much. Is this live? The artist formerly known as John, I'm going to start calling it Tafka, by the way. I think I said that on another stream. Mustard yellow and spring yellow. Gross color mix.
Horrendous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If he was doing all this and he was fashionable, that would be a completely different conversation. It just seems to be a random mix of emasculating clothes. The clothes make the man. Or is it manners maketh the man? And he has neither.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.